What's up, guys? It's your girl Dedicated Diva, and I am back once again with another homeschooling video. Yes, I said back once again because I had this on my other channel, but I decided to make a channel dedicated to homeschooling, parenting, women empowerment, everything of that sort. So this is that channel. And so today I just wanted to talk about the different types of homeschooling, how I feel about it, the pros and cons, some of the laws and different things like that. Because most of the time when I tell people that I homeschool my kids, I can't believe it, but some people still look at me like, what? Like, you're doing what? And it just held me flabbergasted, basically. Like, you still looking at me like these things don't exist, like technology is not gone far enough where these type of things can happen. And it makes me kind of giggle inside. Before I get into this video, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Now, most of my videos, I want to tell you guys, if you're new here to this channel or you just, you have never watched one of my videos before, I like doing these podcast type of videos, and I might bring some video on the screen just for you guys to see certain things, but for the most part, I just like to be laid back, chill, and different things like that. But I decided to make this video because there's a lot of people that don't know about homeschooling, and there's so many things that's going on in school, and it's just, it makes my heart hurt with most of the things that's going on. Where I stay at, it was an incident at a school on the news, and a child ended up getting into a fight, and the child ended up dying like a day after that fight, where they hit the head on something. And then it was another incident where a girl was walking to school, and right before she got on school grounds, she actually got jumped. And it's just so many stories about bullying and people taking their lives from things that are going on in school, and parents feeling hopeless. Until I just feel like people need to be aware of all aspects of homeschooling. Now, just off the top of my head, there's a couple different types of homeschooling. One of them is what I do for my kids. That's public tuition free homeschooling. That's basically where I went to K12.com. I put in my city and state, and I just moved on from that point. Basically, when you go in to register them, you register them like any other school. Now, with the public tuition free schooling, there's an instructor, and your child or your children go through class connects throughout the day, mostly in the morning time until a little afternoon, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock. It just all depends on your time zone. For instance, I'm in the Central Standard Time Zone, and my son starts his classes around 8, and around 2 or 3 he's done. Now, he don't have classes all that whole time, but his classes fall in between that time, and they may have like homework afterward just to do it, just to make sure they're understanding and everything. Now, most of their class connects, if they're actual classes, they are hour long or 45 minutes long. Now, they may have a small group, and that's where they meet with any given instructor, and that's about 25 to 30 minutes long. I don't have to pay for anything. I don't have to pay for any books, anything like that. They did send out a laptop for my daughter. They didn't send one out for my son, only because he started the whole homeschooling thing a little bit after she did. Now, just to kind of draw a picture for you guys, my daughter, she started her homeschooling journey in kindergarten. My son started his homeschooling journey in 6th grade, but now he's in the 8th grade, and him and his sister is going to the same school with homeschooling, if that makes sense. Now, I love the way that I chose to do this, because the public tuition free, it's just basically you have to, let me correct myself. They are required to go to their class connect sessions now for if any point that they can't go to that class connect and they miss that class connect, they can go back and watch a recording and fill out a Google form, and that will be counted as their attendance. Now, they just can't go and don't watch the recording at all, because that'll end up being an absent on them or something like a tardy. So they have to watch the recording, and after they watch the recording, they fill out the form, and bam, that's their attendance. Now, the other way, well, the other type of homeschooling is private. Now, it's just like the public tuition free way, except for you don't have to have an instructor if you don't want to. So just say you don't want to worry about an instructor, you don't have to have an instructor. It's just basically your child goes through, they have a certain little lesson plan they have to go by, and that's what they have to go by. Now, with the private, you do have to pay for that, because it's like you're paying for private school. That's one reason why I chose the public tuition free, because it still, comes with all the bells and whistles, and it helps your child. And I really chose that because my son is in the 8th grade, and I know with math, wow, I don't even want to get into that. At some point in life, unless and that is your job and you're an accountant or something like that, math is not something that stays in your brain. And trust me, guys, some of his homework is out of this world. But also, if you get caught up on something like math and you're going a private route, you can go through KhanAcademy.org, I believe it is. And that's KHAN Academy.org, and that helps you with math. Now, another type of homeschooling is off the grid, and this basically where the only thing that you have to do is report your attendance, and you may not, in every state, you may not have to do that. And off the grid is basically where you buy whatever you want to teach your child, whenever you want to teach them, and that's what you do. You basically have to keep up with testing if your state requires it. You have to keep up with attendance if your state requires it. But other than that, whenever you want your child to do something, or whenever you want them to sit down and learn, that's the time to do it. I found out a lot of people does the off the grid learning when they're on these cool little shows that I like watching, where they stay off in the forest, or they have their own little homestead. I love those shows. And you see them with kids and you wonder how they get back and forth to school. You don't have to worry, well, they don't have to worry about that, because they do off the grid learning. Now, the fourth way is the traditional homeschooling, and this basically when you mimic what a classroom or a school looks like. So that's basically when you take one room in your house, it can be something like a study, and you buy books, supplies, poster, desks, and different things like that, and you just mimic the inside of your room or inside of your home to look like a classroom. And so most people that do the traditional homeschooling like to do the mimicking, or the staging of a room, just to make that child feel like they're actually at school, and it actually sometimes make the learning coaches or parents feel, you know, like they're doing the right thing. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons. Well, I won't say it's a lot of cons, because I love homeschooling, but it's a lot of people think of homeschooling as your child is not really learning, and they're going to be behind. But if you look in a lot of situations, and this is for one, let me just jump over real quick. This is why in most states, let me see if I can get this on the screen for you guys to see. You guys can look on the screen if you guys feel like it. Now here, they show you where it say current homeschooling laws. In all states, assessments are not required and they're not needed. Now, as you can see here, it say these states you do not require any contact with state or local officials. So in all of these states in this little blue color, like, what is this? Idaho, what is this? Alaska, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, let's see, in Jersey. You don't have to have any contact with your state or local officials. It's basically, you can just do your thing. Now, it say the notice only. These states require notice of intent of homeschooling only. So like if you intend on homeschooling your child, they only need you to basically send in a notice, an email, a letter, or something like that. And these are all of these states: Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, California, Arizona, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So the only thing you need is a notice. Now they say assessment with exceptions. And I won't keep going further and further, so this video won't be that long, but you guys see where I'm coming from. Is different states have different ways that you that you need to do things. And I'll be putting these on my website. I'll be putting these links on my website so you guys can see for yourself. Now, it's basically homeschooling is a thing for people who actually have the patience to do it, or they actually have kids that they know will sit down and listen, because a lot of acting out by kids in school and different things like that, it may be a cry out that they're not understanding something, or you have a lot of kids that may be bullying other kids, and it's basically a cry out because they're not up to speed like everyone else, or they don't feel like they fit in, or it can be a variety of issues. That's what homeschooling is great for. Me myself, I just homeschool my kids because where I stay at currently, they're just not up to par at all in the whole school system. That's just a whole nother story, guys. Okay, here they have parent qualifications. They say these are the states, this green color, these are the states with homeschooling parents qualification requirements. That means you have to have a high school diploma or a GED. Those states are Washington, North Dakota, New Mexico, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina. Now, if you notice when you click on most of these, now I'm going to put this down in the description box and you can click up under each one. You notice when you click up on it, it say monitoring some college training courses or deemed qualified. And like I stay in Tennessee, it say you have to have a high school diploma, GED for grades 9 through 12. So in these states that are in green, you have to either have a high school diploma, GED, or for some reason, like Washington, you have to have some college or training courses or deemed qualified. So I guess you will have to push a little bit more in these states. Now, in all of the gray states, they have no requirements. You can basically homeschool your kids if you're going to do it. Find out if you have to send out a notice or something like that, and you can get going. And I'll let you guys read down the rest of that. But, you guys get the gist of everything that I'm trying to say. When you're homeschooling your children, it's also important to keep records of everything that you're doing. Even if you're doing like I'm doing and it's a public tuition free school, you have to make sure they are keeping attendance the way that it should be kept, because you have to think about it like if your kids is at home, the instructors are at home or the teachers are at home. So you have to make sure when it comes to keeping grades and keeping attendance, you have somewhere to look for all of that. Now, I like printing out progress reports and report cards, and that's a great way to keep attendance. They also When I went through K-12, they also send you out this little ID card with your child's name on there and their little student number. But make sure you keep records, and let's see if I can get this back on the screen for you guys. It say you have to keep attendance records, information on textbooks and workbooks that your student use, and samples of your students' schoolwork and different things like that. So you have to keep a portfolio. So if you're thinking about homeschooling your child, just make sure you keep some type of book up, portfolio up, and just make sure you keep accurate records. Make sure you have the right records around you at all times, because things are so screwed up these days to where if people feel like your kids not going to school and they just want to, just say someone want to call the police and say, well, I don't never see her kids leave at the house. I don't never see her kids actually get up to go to school. So that's when your records kick in. That's when, you having books and workbooks and portfolios and different things like that kick in. It's also great if, just say if a situation like that was to ever happen to you and you had to go to court, you can be like, look, this is all my proof here. So now, and after this, I will be ending this video, are some of the pros and cons that I feel about homeschooling my kids. One is the convenience. Straight off the top of my head, you don't have to worry about waking your kids up early in the morning trying to get them dressed for school, and it may be too cold, or it may be too hot, it may be rainy, or they might be sick. With homeschooling, you don't have to worry about any of that. That's a big part. Another pro is me being able to watch my kids do what they do, and I know what they're actually doing. I know that they're getting it. If it's something that they're not understanding, we can go back on the recordings and watch over things. They also send books in, so that's a great thing. You can go anywhere and homeschool your child. So just say they had a doctor's appointment, and instead of them missing days out of school, you just take your laptop along, or if you can take your tablet along, you can take everything along with you. Your child is not missing anything. And also, homeschooling is very flexible. There's no time that you can't do it. So just say if you wanted to travel and going on vacation, and you normally would go on vacation when your child is in school, you can go on vacation anytime you feel like it. Also, with most forms of homeschooling, you don't have to pay. I know with the public tuition free and off the grid and the traditional, well, let me think about that. I would say with the public tuition free and the off the grid, you don't have to really worry about how much you're going to pay for anything, because it'll be like the little of nothing. And if you're one of those parents where it's kind of hard to kind of foot the bill for different things, and I understand totally, because at one point I was one of those parents where it may have been hard to get clothes and different things like that. Choosing the public tuition free route is a great way, as long as you have high-speed internet and a computer, or they can send you a computer. That's a great way to go. It's just so many positive things that can come from homeschooling. You just have to be willing to go the extra mile for your child, and know that when you're homeschooling your child, that you are essentially their teacher. You're teaching them everything, even if you have an instructor and class connects and different things like that. It's just up to you, just to keep pushing for your child. And that if you give up, you're giving up on your child. You're giving up on their education. You're giving up on what they're going to learn. And some of the cons in homeschooling, I don't know if there's any, because the pros outweighs the cons. I don't know if there's any cons. The only con that I can think of, that if you're in a state that requires state testing, and it comes that time and you may not have transportation, but I have heard of some schools being flexible and being able to help you out with that. But to me, there are not any cons of homeschooling, because there's times when your kids can actually meet through the school that my kids attend. They have conferences and they have meetups and different things like that, so your child gets to meet with other children, you get to meet with other learning coaches or parents or different things like that. But it's finally coming to the end of this video, guys. I could talk about this forever and ever. As you guys can see, I had to stop myself. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have anything that you want to tell me, please put it down in the comment section below. I make sure that I read everything. I have my notifications up on my phone so that pop up. If it's something that I didn't go over, or something you feel like that I may, thought about the wrong way, or I may have said the wrong way, just, girl or guys, just correct me down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys later on this week.